All right, y'all. This is my license to be a boat driver, pleasure craft operator. I can drive a boat that's up to 24 meters or something like that. And the thing is, if you got one of these, that means you can drive the boat. You just gotta be responsible, not go too quickly, not make sure anyone falls overboard, not make sure you're not drinking on the boat. And if you got one of these, then anybody else that's in the boat that's over the age of 16 can drive the boat. So they can drive under your supervision, and as long as they're doing so responsibly. Now, to get a boat card, the course is an online course. It's not. It's cheap. It's so cheap. It's like $50 for the course, and then another $20 for the exam, like $70, and then another $10 to get the card. But the course is pretty difficult. It's I think 5 or 6 hours of doing the quizzes, but the test is easy. The test is easy. So you learn by studying the quizzes. So you need to study the quizzes and for 5 to 6 hours, and then the test is I got 98% on the test or 96% on the test, and it's open book, so you can Google the answers. So you're not failing the test. But in order to get to the test, you need to do the quizzes, which are hard, and they won't let you skip ahead. Like every time you start a new lesson, there's a timer, and you have to stay on the page for 2 to 3 minutes every single time. And then you might as well fucking read it if you're gonna stay there for 2 to 3 minutes. So you get your boat card. Let me describe to you what I learned from boating. Now, understand this. Get this. I don't know how to drive a fucking boat. I never driven a boat other than as a passenger. I am scared of fucking water. I am not driving a fucking boat. But basically, it's like the number one cause of death. When you drink alcohol, you lose your balance, so people fall overboard. When you drive too quickly, you crash. People fall off. When you don't wear life jackets, you crash. The water is fucking cold. Why is it cold? Because you're on the sun. The sun is fucking hot. So when you go from super hot to ultra cold right away, your body gets a shock. And if you're not wearing a life jacket, you're going to drown. Now, a life jacket will flip you over when you're unconscious onto your back. But one of those just flotation devices, safety vests, will not. So they're more comfortable for like jet skis, but they're not going to flip you over if you're unconscious. You have the emergency position. You just go like this and float on your back, and that preserves warmth. You can survive for about 10 minutes in the cold water, and then you're going to get hypothermia and die. I don't know. But also, if what was that neat thing like? Most people, if they're wearing a life jacket, they will survive long enough to be rescued, because there's always other boats around, and you have flares, and you have radar, and you have the horn. So there's always and and there's always people that can come rescue you in the day or the night, because the boat has lights at nighttime, and there's flares and radio. And before you take off to go to the sea, you follow the plan. So you get a blueprint of the conditions, the environment. You get the weather, the radar. You don't go at nighttime if you don't want to go at nighttime, or you make sure whatever your boat's capable of handling. And you get a topography of the sea where you're going to be traveling. So you get the what do you call it? You get like where the rocks are, where the markers are, where the swimming zones are, where the dangerous zones are, where the hazards are. So you get a map of what the fuck you're going. Navigation charts. They're called navigation charts. And then you leave an itinerary of, I'm leaving now. This is the captain. This is what we're taking with us. These are the passengers. This is their phone number. This is their address, whatever. And you leave that with someone, or you leave it. You don't forget. You leave that with the dock, the land ho. You leave it with land ho, and you leave that itinerary. I don't know what it's called. So and you provide them estimate of when you're gonna go and when you're gonna get back, and if you're not back hours later, they can send a search and rescue. But you be responsible because you don't want to waste random search and rescues. What else? Then there's like buoys. So uh, when you're traveling down a channel, you follow like the laws of the road. So you stay on the right side, you stay on the left side, and there'll be buoys always placed along the channel for which direction you're traveling, which side you should stay on. They're green and red, green and red, green and red. And on your boat, you have three color lights. You have white light, which is just signal light, and you have green and red. So green and red are port and starboard. So port has four letters like the word left. So port is left, starboard is right. Bow and stern. I don't know which one. I don't fucking know any of them, bro. Port, starboard, bow, stern, whatever. Now, the engine, you learn where to what type. There's different types of engines. Ones that sit above the bow, that sit underneath the boat. Jet engines, gasoline engines, and they can light on fire and they can get stuck and tangled. So you gotta fucking learn what kind of engine you have and where in the hull. That's called a hull. How deep the hull sits in the water, and if water comes in your boat, you gotta have a bucket to shovel it out. Minor repair kits, fire extinguisher, because fires on boats are dangerous, so you gotta extinguish the fire. And then now the boats have lights, so your port and starboard side have a red light and a green light, and the boat in the oncoming night has red or green on its two sides. So that means when you see the boat coming and you see green light, you don't see the boat, but you're gonna see green lights. So if you see green lights, it means you just go straight. If you see red lights, that means he's going straight. If you see his red lights, that means he sees your green lights. So that means he's gonna go straight, and you have to turn. You have to turn left. You have to turn left. So if you see red, you have to get out the way. If you see green, he has to get out the way. That's about it, bro. And then it's just common sense. Like, don't go too fast. Don't go when there's different levels of how fast the wind is and how fast the waves are. So you don't go when there's wind, waves, storms. And when there are storms, you can you go at a 45-degree angle to the waves, and you just gotta pilot the ship. You just gotta pilot the ship. I don't know how to do that. I don't drive a boat. Oh, and you gotta stay once a year. You gotta do maintenance on your boat. You gotta make sure all the safety equipment is there and the boat is properly functioning. So once a year. And it takes some skill, like tying up your boat. You need a first man, a first sailor to help you tie it up, to not crash, to not damage other people's boats, to not go too fast, to not get anyone fall into the water. It's just responsibility. You need to be responsible. And it's like if you're driving a little paddle boat, you don't need a license. But if you're driving a canoe, if you're driving a jet ski, I think if you're 16, you can drive a jet ski or something. There's different. If you want to drive a big boat, you got to have a license. Other than that, you can just drive responsibly on your smaller craft. Oh, and if you see someone stranded in the water, you don't jump in to help them because they're gonna be in a panic mode and they could drown you. So you just send stuff over like flotation devices. Your boat's gonna have some rescue tools like a rope with a buoy with a flotation device, and you send those overboard, and they hold on to those and come aboard. Yeah, so take the exam if you got a boat. It's a fun time. It's very stressful. Damn, it's stressful for like 5-6 hours. My mom took a month to do it. I did it in 3 sessions. So I did an hour and a half each time. And then the exam was easy. But the modules, you got to get 80% of them. You got to get 80% of the modules to pass. And it's just fucking annoying because to get to the quiz, you sometimes have to spend an hour or an hour and a half to get to the quiz because each lesson you have to stay on the page for 2 to 3 minutes. So you can't skip ahead. So you have to stay there until the timer runs out. And once you do go through all the timers after 40 minutes to an hour, then you get the quiz. And you got to get 80% on the quiz. And the quiz is timed. Is it timed? I don't know, but could I Google the answers? I guess you can Google the answers to the quiz as well, but I never did that. Yeah. Is it timed? I don't know. But just mainly be responsible and make sure no one drowns. That's your obligation as a boat driver. Drive the boat so no one falls over. So you're not dangerous weather, you're not a hazard, you're not crashing other boats, you're not getting drunk and people falling over, and you have life jackets and safety equipment and navigation charts and a trip planner and responsible taking care of emergency situations, and you know where your lights and your horn are and your radar and all that stuff, right? So that's simple how to drive a boat. Now, if you want to drive a car, you got to follow the signals and the leaving the distance and the merging with the traffic and the signs and the parking and driving a car is hard as well. Driving a car because it's stressful. Because with a boat, you have the open sea. You can do whatever you want. You have open sea. But with a car, you have traffic and you get stuck. And you get lost, and you need a GPS, and you need gas, and you need a battery, and you're crammed up in tiny little seats. Boat's a fun time. But this stays with me in my little collection, and I don't got a boat. I got a car. Don't got a boat. But I figured, hey, might as well be a boat captain. Port to port, starboard to starboard, Davy Jones, Captain Jack Sparrow.